People in prison get raped. People in prison to their wives, their family member acted like nothing ever happened. Oh yeah, I just raped him because guess what? We're in prison. This is what we do. 4CR.
Right from the beginning, you can tell this isn't a complicated trial. The defendant already accepted a plea deal, so the question isn't really about guilt anymore. It's about punishment. And when the maximum sentence being discussed is only 12 months, the defense is clearly hoping the judge might go even lighter. But once the court starts looking at the defendant's background, you can already feel where this might be going.
Any objections to the PSI report?
No.
All right. Do you have any witnesses?
We don't, Your Honor, just argument.
All right. I'll hear argument from the defense, and while the state is reviewing the PSI report, I'll hear argument from them after the fact.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So Mr. Moya has been pretty open and direct in his narrative of the incident. Pretty open about and I think pretty honest about his personal difficulties and issues with drugs and alcohol. He didn't emphasize them a lot, but I do believe that he understands them to be serious.
So translate for me, how does I have problems with drug and alcohol translate him to having been to prison before for robbery and having all of these cases, and according to what I read in the stipulations, stealing people's packages from mailboxes when people are waiting for their items and then they don't receive them because somebody has stolen them from mailboxes. I don't understand why the federal government is not involved, because it's the theft of U.S.
Oh, he's accepted guilt of that. We have no justification for that, obviously, Your Honor. I was the main 2 points that I would like to hit are that Mr. Moya, he's been in custody for about for 236 days now on this. He has been diligent in jail. He's not gotten into trouble in jail. He has been attending AA twice a week since February.
So I'm assuming you're going to ask for something less than 12 months in the state jail facility.
This moment is where things start getting uncomfortable for the defense. The judge isn't just looking at this one crime. He's looking at the entire pattern. Theft cases, burglary, fraud, even a robbery conviction. When a judge sees a record like this, it becomes harder to believe that this is just a one-time mistake. And the judge asks a very direct question. Why should the court give him less than the full sentence this time?
Fraudulent possession of identifying items, probation terminated, robbery sentenced to 2 years in the prison, another fraud case that was dismissed, convicted of other, and burglary of a vehicle with 2 convictions, sentenced to 6 months in the state jail. Then you have this case. So why should I consider giving him less than the 12? You want to raise your right hand?
Yes,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Jacob Moy.
The defendant's answer here is surprisingly honest. He admits something that most people probably wouldn't say in a courtroom, that sometimes stealing just feels easier than working for things. And while that honesty might sound refreshing, it also reveals the real problem. The judge isn't just hearing regret. He's hearing someone who still hasn't completely figured out how to break that cycle.
With the Postal Service, stealing mail, that's a federal offense. If you read the letters, even when a letter comes to your house and it's supposed to be in somebody else's mail, but the postman put it in your mailbox by mistake, you know what it says on there? It has a law on there about if you open this and it is not for you, and you take it and you don't just put it back in the box, return to sender. Me personally, I always just drive around the corner, knock on my neighbor's door. Hey, they put this in my box by mistake. If it's junk mail, I just put it back in the mailbox because nobody wants junk mail really. But that's what you've been out here doing. And now you come to the court, you want sympathy saying you've learned. And I'm sure Hopefully, when you went to prison for robbery, did you learn anything from that experience?
Honestly, Your Honor, I
This is where the judge shifts the focus toward the victims. Package theft might seem small to the person committing it, but for the people waiting for those deliveries, it could be very personal. It could be a gift, something sentimental, or something someone worked hard to afford. And the judge is basically forcing the defendant to see the crime from the other side, from the perspective of the people who were affected.
Come out and you still do this.
Well, Your Honor,
When the defendant starts talking about his time in prison, the conversation takes a darker turn. Prison is often talked about as a place for rehabilitation, but the reality can be much harsher. The judge even acknowledges that prison can be a dangerous and brutal environment. But at the same time, the court still has to balance that reality with accountability.
because honestly, I like the energy and just how I am, how I am as a person when I'm working and I'm doing something productive.
Okay. Anything else?
Here, the defendant tries to show the judge that he's making progress. He talks about working inside the jail and learning to do something productive. Moments like this are interesting because they show the conflict judges often face. On one hand, they want to encourage rehabilitation. On the other hand, they have to consider a long history of crimes that came before this moment.
This type of situation. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, okay?
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Option, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
In the end, the judge decides to give the full 12 months. Not because he believes the defendant can't change, but because the pattern of behavior can't be ignored. What's interesting, though, is the final thing the judge says. He actually tells the defendant that if he needs help finding rehab or resources after he gets out, he can come back to the court. It's a reminder that sometimes justice isn't just about punishment. It's also about giving someone one more chance to finally turn their life around.